My mother-in-law destroyed my wedding dress the night before my big day because she claimed it would outshine her own daughter's $10,000 dress, but then my father-in-law stepped in and revealed a dark secret that left everyone speechless. Hey everyone, I, 27F, really need your advice on something that happened at my wedding. This situation has torn my husband's family apart, and I don't know if I made the right choice by letting everything come to light. My hands are literally shaking as I type this, but I need to get this off my chest. I got married last weekend to my wonderful husband James, 29M. We've been together for 5 years after meeting at a mutual friend's barbecue. It was love at first sight. He made me laugh by accidentally squirting ketchup all over his shirt while trying to be smooth. We've been inseparable ever since, and everything was perfect until the night before our wedding. My mother-in-law Sarah, 52F, has always been cold towards me, but I tried to chalk it up to her being protective of her only son. She would make subtle digs about my career as a kindergarten teacher, saying things like, well, at least you'll be good practice for when James wants kids, or it's sweet that you work even though James makes enough to support you. I always tried to brush it off because James would defend me, and I didn't want to cause problems. Some background: Sarah has a daughter, Emma, 25F, from her first marriage. Emma is getting married next month to a wealthy businessman, and Sarah has been obsessing over making Emma's wedding the event of the year. She spent $10,000 on Emma's wedding dress alone, a designer gown that she made sure to tell everyone about. Every family dinner somehow turned into a discussion about Emma's wedding, with Sarah dropping hints about how it would be so much more elegant than other weddings this year. My dress wasn't anywhere near as expensive, but it meant the world to me. I wore my grandmother's restored vintage wedding dress from 1962. My grandmother was the person who raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 12. She was my rock, my best friend, and my biggest supporter. When she passed away last year, her last wish was for me to wear her dress at my wedding. The dress needed some alterations and restoration, but after 3 months of careful work by a specialist, it looked absolutely stunning. The ivory lace had been carefully preserved, and the pearl buttons down the back each told a story. My grandmother had sewn one on for every year she was married to my grandfather, 54 pearls in total. The night before my wedding, Sarah came to my house claiming she wanted to help with last-minute preparations. I was alone because James was at his bachelor party with his groomsmen. I was actually touched that Sarah wanted to help. I thought maybe she was finally warming up to me. She brought over a bottle of wine, saying we should have a mother-daughter moment. When I went to the bathroom, Sarah snuck into my room. I heard a strange noise and rushed back to find Sarah standing over my dress, empty wine glass in hand. The beautiful ivory lace was soaked in red wine, spreading like a bloodstain across my grandmother's legacy. But that wasn't even the worst part. She had taken scissors to it, methodically cutting through the seams and shredding the delicate lace. 54 pearl buttons were scattered across the floor, each one representing a year of love, now tossed aside like trash. Sarah didn't even try to deny it. She stood there, scissors still in hand, and told me she couldn't let me overshadow Emma's wedding with my attention-seeking vintage dress. According to her, people would be talking about my quaint little hand-me-down instead of focusing on Emma's designer gown next month. She said she was doing me a favor, saving me from embarrassment. I was in shock. My legs gave out, and I sank to the floor, gathering the scattered pearls with trembling hands. Each one felt like a piece of my grandmother slipping away all over again. I called James in tears, barely able to form words. He immediately left his bachelor party and came home with his father, Robert, 54M, who had been chaperoning the event. When Robert saw what Sarah had done, something in him just snapped. His face went through a series of emotions: shock, recognition, and then pure rage. He looked at his wife and said, "This is exactly like what you did 25 years ago, isn't it?" The room went dead silent. Sarah turned white as a sheet, looking like she'd seen a ghost. Robert then revealed something that shocked us all. Apparently, 25 years ago, Sarah had done something similar to Robert's sister Claire's wedding dress. Claire was marrying into the wealthy Anderson family, while Sarah and Robert were struggling financially at the time. The night before Claire's wedding, Sarah destroyed her handmade wedding dress out of pure jealousy. Claire's wedding was ruined, and she never spoke to them again. Robert had kept this secret all these years to protect their marriage and Emma, who was just a baby at the time. I didn't know what to do with this information. James was furious with his mother, pacing the room and running his hands through his hair, something he only does when he's extremely upset. Robert announced he wanted a divorce, saying he couldn't keep enabling her behavior. Sarah started crying, saying she needed help and that she'd pay for a new dress, but the damage was already done. No amount of money could replace what she had destroyed. Update 1: It's been a week since everything happened, and a lot has changed. First, I want to thank everyone for their support and advice. The wedding did happen, just not as planned. My amazing friends and my mom, really my grandmother's best friend who took me in after she passed, stayed up all night trying to fix the dress. They managed to save most of the pearls, but the wine stains and cuts were beyond repair. However, my best friend Lisa, who owns a bridal boutique, came through for me in an incredible way. She opened her store at midnight, and we spent hours finding a new dress. It wasn't my grandmother's dress, but Lisa helped me sew all 54 saved pearls into the hem. A small piece of my grandmother still walked me down the aisle. The ceremony was beautiful, despite everything. We had to change some plans last minute, but our friends and family rallied around us. James's brother Mark gave an emotional speech about family and loyalty that had everyone in tears. He didn't directly mention what happened, but his words about choosing to be better than what we come from hit home for many people. Robert moved out of their house the next day and is staying with Mark. He filed for divorce and is determined to go through with it this time. He confessed that Sarah had shown similar behavior throughout their marriage, but he always made excuses for her. He said he's tired of enabling Sarah's behavior and watching her hurt people. The most surprising development came from Emma. When she found out what her mother did, she was horrified. She came to our wedding reception and pulled me aside to apologize, even though none of this was her fault. Part 2. My mother-in-law destroyed my wedding dress the night before my big day because she claimed it would outshine her own daughter's $10,000 dress, but then my father-in-law stepped in and revealed a dark secret that left everyone speechless. She revealed that her mother had been making similar comments about overshadowing other people at her own wedding, but she never thought Sarah would actually do something like this. Emma postponed her own wedding and is reconsidering her relationship with her mother. She confided in me that Sarah had been trying to control every aspect of her wedding, even threatening to withdraw financial support if Emma didn't choose the exact flowers and venue that Sarah wanted. Sarah has been blowing up everyone's phones with texts and calls. Her messages swing wildly between desperate apologies and vicious accusations. One minute she's begging for forgiveness, the next she's claiming we're all conspiring against her. She even tried to claim that she was just trying to help me by preventing me from wearing an outdated dress that would have embarrassed the family. The texts got increasingly erratic as the days went by. She would send messages at 3 a.m., ranging from "I just want my family back" to "you're all going to regret turning my children against me." When we didn't respond, she started sending voice messages, sobbing one minute and screaming the next. James had to block her number after she sent him a particularly disturbing message about how ungrateful he was after everything she sacrificed for him. The worst part was when she started posting on social media. She wrote this long, dramatic post about how she was being unfairly vilified and how some people were trying to destroy her family. She painted herself as this concerned mother who was just trying to protect her children from bad influences. Several of her friends started leaving nasty comments on my Facebook photos, calling me a homewrecker and accusing me of turning her family against her. I had to make all my social media private and block dozens of people I'd never even met. Update 2: 2 weeks have passed, and things have gotten even more complicated. Emma decided to cancel her wedding entirely after discovering more disturbing things about her mother's past behavior. She found Sarah's old diaries while helping Robert pack up the house, and what she read horrified her. Apparently, Sarah had been spreading vicious rumors about Emma's fiancé's family to create drama. She told Emma's future mother-in-law that Emma had made disparaging remarks about their family business, while telling Emma that her future in-laws thought she was a gold digger. She was deliberately trying to create conflict because she was jealous of how close Emma was getting to her fiancé's family. Robert has been incredibly supportive through all of this. He's seeking therapy to deal with the guilt of keeping Sarah's past behavior secret for so long. He admitted that he should have done something years ago when Sarah first showed signs of this destructive behavior. The therapist helped him understand that his silence had actually enabled Sarah's actions to escalate over the years. James and I are doing okay, but it's been hard on him. Finding out this side of his mother has really shaken his faith in his childhood memories. He's started questioning everything, wondering if other happy family moments were also built on his mother's manipulations. We've decided to go to family therapy together to work through all of this. The most shocking update is that 2 other women from Sarah's past have reached out to us after seeing Emma's post about canceling her wedding. They were former friends whose special occasions were similarly ruined by Sarah's actions. One was a baby shower where Sarah accidentally spilled coffee on all the gifts because she was jealous that her friend could have children easily while she struggled with fertility. Another was a graduation party where Sarah mistakenly gave out the wrong address to all the guests because her friend's daughter got into a better college than Emma. Update 3: It's been a month now, and I think it's time for my final update. The situation with Sarah has reached a resolution of sorts, though not the one anyone expected. After multiple incidents of Sarah showing up uninvited at various family members' homes, including a particularly disturbing incident where she was found sleeping in her car outside our house, Robert got a temporary restraining order against her. Emma also had to get one after Sarah tried to convince Emma's fiancé that Emma was cheating on him. She even hired a private investigator to follow Emma and photoshopped some pictures to make it look like Emma was meeting men in hotels. She was actually meeting with a wedding planner to discuss canceling her venue bookings. The breaking point came when Sarah showed up at my school during recess. I was outside with my kindergarten class when I saw her arguing with our security guard at the fence. She was screaming that she needed to protect the children from me, waving printed screenshots of my private Facebook photos that she somehow got hold of. Some of my students started crying because of her yelling, and we had to quickly usher them inside. She then somehow got into the building through a side door and burst into the principal's office, trying to convince him that I was unfit to work with children. She had compiled this crazy evidence folder full of edited photos and out-of-context social media posts. She even tried to claim that I had a drinking problem because there was a photo of me holding a glass of champagne at my engagement party. Thankfully, my principal, Mr. Thompson, knew me well enough not to take her seriously. He's been my mentor since I started teaching and had actually attended our wedding. He called the police while his secretary kept Sarah talking, and they escorted her off the premises. The whole incident was terrifying, not just for me, but for my students who had to witness her outburst. Sarah finally agreed to seek professional help after Emma threatened to press charges for harassment. Her therapist diagnosed her with several serious mental health issues, I won't specify for privacy reasons. While we're glad she's getting help, James and I have decided to maintain strong boundaries with her. Any future contact will have to be supervised and dependent on her continuing her treatment. Emma and her fiancé, David, have worked through the drama Sarah caused and have rescheduled their wedding for next spring. The journey to this decision wasn't easy. They actually broke up for 2 weeks after Sarah's manipulation came to light. David was hurt that Emma might have believed her mother's lies about his family, and Emma was devastated that her mother would try to destroy her happiness. But then something beautiful happened. David's mother, Catherine, reached out to Emma directly. Instead of being angry, she invited Emma over for tea and shared stories about her own difficult relationship with her mother-in-law. Catherine had gone through something similar when she married David's father, and she understood exactly what Emma was going through. That conversation was a turning point for Emma and David's relationship. They are now planning a smaller, more intimate ceremony at Catherine's family vineyard. The original huge, formal wedding that Sarah had pushed for has been replaced with something much more meaningful. Emma asked me to be her maid of honor, not just a bridesmaid, saying that I showed her what real family loyalty looks like. Part 3. My mother-in-law destroyed my wedding dress the night before my big day because she claimed it would outshine her own daughter's $10,000 dress, but then my father-in-law stepped in and revealed a dark secret that left everyone speechless. We've actually grown incredibly close through all of this. We meet for coffee every week, and she's become the sister I never had. Sometimes the worst situations bring out the most unexpected friendships. The wedding planning has become a healing experience for everyone involved. Catherine and Emma are designing the ceremony together, incorporating traditions from both families. David's teenage sister is going to sing during the ceremony, and his grandmother is helping to make the wedding favors by hand. It's everything a wedding should be, a celebration of love and family coming together, rather than the social competition Sarah had tried to make it. The most surprising development came when Robert's sister Claire, who we hadn't heard from in 25 years, reached out after Emma found her on Facebook and told her what happened. The first contact was tentative, just a short message saying she was sorry about what happened to my dress. But that opened the floodgates of 25 years of pain and unresolved feelings. Claire and Robert arranged to meet at a neutral location, a small cafe halfway between their homes. James and I offered to go with him for support, but he said this was something he needed to do alone. He later told us that when he saw Claire, it was like no time had passed at all. They just hugged and cried for what felt like hours. Claire shared her side of the story from 25 years ago. She had spent months making her wedding dress by hand, pouring her heart into every stitch. The night before her wedding, she found it in shreds, with Sarah standing over it claiming it had been an accident while she was trying to help steam out some wrinkles. The similarity to what happened to my dress was chilling. But the dress wasn't the only thing Sarah had destroyed. She had also been spreading rumors about Claire to her fiancé's family, just like she did with Emma. Claire's wedding was cancelled, and her relationship with her fiancé didn't survive the drama. She moved across the country to start fresh, too hurt by Robert's defense of Sarah to maintain any contact. Claire and Robert have started rebuilding their relationship, which has been healing for both of them. She's been coming to Sunday dinners at our house, and watching her and Robert reconnect has been beautiful. She even brought her own family. We discovered James and I have 2 teenage cousins we never knew about. The most touching moment was when Claire sent me a package containing her own ruined wedding dress from 25 years ago, along with photos of how it looked before Sarah destroyed it. The patterns of destruction were eerily similar, the same methodical cuts, the same targeted damage to the most meaningful parts of the dress. But Claire didn't send it to show the damage, she sent it because she had saved all the lace and beading, hoping that someday she could use it to make her daughter's wedding dress. Now, she wants to incorporate elements of it into the replica of my grandmother's dress we're creating for the vow renewal ceremony. Let's turn 2 destroyed dresses into something beautiful, she wrote in her letter. Sarah tried to ruin our special days, but in the end, she just brought us closer together. As for James and me, we're focusing on healing and moving forward. The vow renewal ceremony we're planning for our first anniversary has become a symbol of new beginnings for the entire family. Claire, who is an amazing seamstress, is creating something truly special, a dress that combines elements from both my grandmother's dress and her own. She's using the 54 original pearls we saved, incorporating them into a design that tells not just my grandmother's love story, but also represents the new bonds we formed through this ordeal. Emma and David are helping with the planning, and Catherine has offered their vineyard as the venue. Robert will be walking me down the aisle this time, a gesture that means the world to both of us. Even my kindergarten students are involved. They're making paper flowers for the decorations, turning it into a class project about love and family. The most unexpected joy came last week when we discovered I'm pregnant. We weren't planning to start our family so soon, but it feels right. When we shared the news, Claire burst into tears and immediately started planning a baby quilt using fabric from both wedding dresses. This baby, she said, will be wrapped in the love of generations of strong women who overcame adversity. My grandmother used to tell me that family isn't just about blood, it's about who shows up when you need them most. This experience has proven her right in ways I never expected. We've lost some family members, but we've gained so many more. Emma isn't just my sister-in-law anymore, she's the sister I never had. Claire isn't just James's long-lost aunt, she's become a second mother to both of us. Catherine and David's family have embraced us as their own. As for Sarah, we've heard she's still in therapy and making some progress. Her therapist reached out, with Sarah's permission, to suggest family counseling sessions in the future, but we're not ready for that yet. Maybe someday we'll be able to establish a healthy relationship with her, but for now, we're focusing on protecting the peace and joy we found. The hardest lesson in all of this was learning that sometimes the happy ending isn't about fixing what was broken, it's about building something new from the pieces. James and I are creating our own family traditions now, ones built on love, respect, and genuine support. Our baby will grow up surrounded by people who understand that family is something you earn, not something you're entitled to. One of the 54 pearls from my grandmother's dress was cracked during Sarah's rampage. Claire suggested we place it in a special display box along with a piece of her destroyed dress, not to dwell on the pain, but to remember that broken things can lead to beautiful new beginnings. It sits on our mantle now, beside the ultrasound photo of our baby, a reminder that every end is just a new beginning in disguise. Thank you, Reddit, for being part of our journey. Your support helped me find the strength to stand up for myself when I needed it most. To everyone who shared similar stories, you helped me feel less alone and showed me that it's possible to find light in the darkest situations. And to those who might be going through something similar, remember that family is more than blood. Sometimes the family you choose becomes the foundation you need to build a beautiful life. Edit, thank you for all the awards and kind messages. To those asking about the therapy resources mentioned in the comments, I've created a separate post with all the information, including the support groups that helped us through this difficult time. And yes, we're having twins. Found out at the last ultrasound, and no, Sarah doesn't know yet. Some news is just for family.